Three.
Hello, hello, hello. And we hope some of you guys are starting to get on board. We're just going to wait a few minutes for some of our uh, live attendees to come and join us, and we're going to chat between ourselves and say hello to you guys. So I'm Chris Hitman. Some of you or should know me by the fact that I've sent you a lot of mails. And right in front of me is John Limbrocker, an SEO expert, a man who's worked for companies like Nike, amongst a lot of others. I think Virgin as well is another one.
Yeah, we've got our share. Me and also Chris, another Chris. We've been at this for a very long time, so we have quite an impressive clientele list.
Sounds outstanding. Well, we're super excited to have you here to talk about SEO. A lot of our guys have got small websites, large websites, and SEO is always a changing world. I always get boggled. I understand the links and all that kind of palaver. I understand you have to have all your on-page factors, such as your keywords and titles and all the usual things in play. But you're a level above that. So the kind of stuff that you're doing is beyond and above what a lot of people do on the basic SEO. And that's the reason why you have a lot of success with SEO, where a lot of people lag behind. And that's what we want to talk about today. And we're going to be super excited to talk about that. So let's just wait for a few more attendees. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. And
Okay.
how are we doing on the attendee side?
Looks like people are starting to come in now. We got Daniel, David, John, and a couple I can't pronounce. So I'm not even going to try.
Outstanding, welcome. Well, at least you guys know it's live, it's not scripted. So first I'm going to ask a question just to get going. How did you get started in SEO? SEO is not the most exciting of topics. So I mean, you got to have a brain for it, and you got to have a talent for it. I know you snoop around in things like patents. That's what I've read out.
Right.
Because what a lot of people don't know is I don't set up a lot of the emails that I send you. I use Steve. Steve essentially does research and he talks to people trying to find the best products for you guys. So when I read that you dig into patents, and I thought, okay, this guy goes fishing to find this kind of information. I'm in. All right, let's see what you got.
Yeah, I hate fishing. Although you see the big fish on the wall behind me, I hate fishing. What I like is catching.
Right. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
why I read those patents.
Outstanding. Okay. So tell us just a brief summary, John, in terms of where we're going to go with this. I mean, what kind of things are people going to get from this webinar?
Okay, I'm gonna basically show you what's going on today.
Right.
There's a lot of SEO that's come and gone, but what I want to focus on is what you can do today to fix it, because it's really broken. It's like
Okay.
Google has done some stuff that I predicted they would do back in like 2011.
Okay.
And it's absolutely brilliant what they've done.
Right.
It literally wiped out the entire SEO community. I mean, most of the guys I started with, they're gone. They're just not in it anymore.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how, if you really understand what they're doing and what's behind it, how you
Right.
can actually still play the game very easily, in fact. So
Okay.
that's kind
I
of
mean,
what we're going to cover.
okay. So Google always has a nasty habit of pulling the rug from underneath people's feet. When I think they got going in the early days, we had the keyword stuffing in the titles and the descriptions and all that kind of stuff. That worked for a little bit. They pulled the rug from underneath us, and then we had the panda and penguin thing, which I don't really even today fully understand. But I know a lot of my SEO friends disappeared out the woods. Basically, none of them were in business, and so did a lot of sites, from that matter. So this is bang up to date
Yep,
information. This is cutting edge stuff that we're going to be talking about. So pay attention, guys, because this is going to be gold. And I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you take it away, John. I'm going to come and butt in now and again, basically, and put myself on mute.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you have questions, feel free. Just hop in and ask away. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a PowerPoint presentation. So what it does, it just kind of keeps me on track, so I don't go completely awry.
No problem.
Because there's some great stuff to cover here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share here for you guys. And let me get that cooking here. Do screen share, and then we'll start the PowerPoint. Okay, so we're beyond this slide here. What I'm going to talk about here is the stuff that really, really matters to you. This is the stuff worth a lot of money, and it's buyer keywords. If you guys haven't heard that phrase, a buyer keyword is a keyword that's going to bring you a buyer. That's why we call it a buyer keyword. And you know that's pretty simple in fact, but a lot of people don't understand what that means. And what a buyer keyword is, it's more of a specific than a generic. You guys have probably heard the term long tail. Long tail is not better just because it's easier to rank for because less people are targeting it. The reason it's better to rank for is it's what brings actual buyers. Think about the process, and I'm really big on the why behind everything. I don't just do things because people say to do it. I want to know why. So whenever I tell you something, I'm always going to share the why so you get it, so you understand how important it is. And the reason that you don't want to do generic keywords, although if you can rank for them, they'll bring you a boatload of traffic, they're not going to bring you the right traffic. So think about somebody, think about a buyer. There's a cycle, there's a process. You know, they talk about sales cycles and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely true online in the search world as well. A buyer will start with a generic keyword. When they start, the first search they run is going to be generic. It's going to be like tires. And then they're going to get all kinds of stuff. And they're going to realize, well, now I want tires for my truck of a certain size. So then they refine the search and they make it more specific. And then they get a bunch of stuff again. And they're like, well, you know, I really want Goodyear tires. So then they add that. And then they realize, well, I don't want to go across country to get these things. I want to get them here in my own city. So then they add that. Now you've got a very long tail keyword there, but that's a buyer keyword. When that buyer types that in, he's got his credit card in his hand and he's ready to make a purchase. So those are the keywords that are worth a lot of money. It's not the keywords that have a huge volume behind them. And I'll give you an example of this that is, it's the biggest one that I've seen yet. And it was a customer of mine that he did water sports equipment. And when we re-optimized him for water slides, we had a lot less searches, but he sold $1 million water slide to Celine Dion out in Las Vegas because of what we did for him. It was crazy. And he came back to me and he says, I want to optimize for water parks now. And I'm like, holy shit, could you do a water park? And he said, yeah, absolutely, I can do a water park. When I did the keyword research, it was like very few people were searching for that. We did some really specific keywords around building of a water park. And there's only maybe like a couple people a month that were searching for it. In the SEO world, you guys would never go for that term. You'd go, no, I'm not going for that. But we did. And it turned into $100 million sale. One sale, $100 million. So pay attention to the buyer keywords. You know, there might be stuff in your industry that if you get just one, it could change your life for the whole year. You know, that's what a buyer keyword is. So anyway, the problem nowadays, we talk about, I'm going to refer to it as Google 2.0. And that's what's going on now. It's like you guys know about the content, you know about the linking, but that stuff about a year ago started to fade away too. And very few people knew what replaced it. And it's what I'm calling Web 2.0. So the moral of the story, very few people right now know how to rank for these keywords. But the thing is, we do. We know how to do this. And we teach this. Our students know how to do this too. And you know, it's one thing for me to just say it, but I can actually show it. So I've got students that have done this, and all of their keywords now are in the top 10 because of it. This is a shot from SEMrush, which we use this tool a lot. to monitor progress. And you'll see, like right here, look at the climb on this site after we started implementing this new technique. I mean, it just went straight vertical. This was, yeah, this was a fairly new type of a site too. So they hadn't done much with it.
Okay, quick question. Web
Yeah.
2.0s. I remember Web 2.0s being things like Tumblr, other sort of major authority sites. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about?
No, I'm just referring to Web 2.0 as just a new version of it.
Right, got you, got you.
And
Just so I don't get confused with it.
and it's more Google 2.0. Web
Right,
2.0, yes, that was basically the meaning behind Web 2.0 was it was interaction.
right.
It was sites that you could actually interact with, user-generated content. The
Okay.
reason I call Google 2.0 is when you see what changed, you're going to see that's exactly what it was. It's user content that's made the change. So here's another one. This is actually this is the water sports company that I was talking about. And when we did this recent technique, they had kind of taken a hit. You'll see they were kind of bouncing around here. We never did any huge volumes of traffic for these guys. It was very specific stuff that we were doing. But when we implemented this new thing, look at the stair climb. It was just, it's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool. Here is life insurance. Now, you guys probably know how competitive this one is. Life insurance, you know, their traffic stuff went up by 92%. You can see where they're hopping along here, and it's not a major jump in numbers, but it's like 100% almost increase going along. That's pretty significant for life insurance.
Oh
So,
God, yeah.
yeah,
That's a lot of leads for them.
yeah. So this is not just for like the little mom and pops. This works on all sites and all niches. Here's a law firm. And what I wanted to show this one for, this isn't like the greatest of examples because, you know, we went up and then we went down and then we went along and then we started to climb again. But the reason this is significant and the reason I wanted to point it out, it's a teaching point here. Whenever you do anything in SEO that's different than what you did in the past, Google's got a patent thing. It's almost like a mousetrap. Some people call it the Google dance. Some people call it, you know, there's all kinds of different things that they call it, the sandbox. But really, it's a mousetrap is what it is. So here's how it works. You start doing SEO, and I don't care what it is. It might be adding a boatload of content. It might be adding a boatload of links. It might be, you know, whatever you're doing to try and manipulate the results. They see it, and it triggers a thing in their algorithm. And what they do is they drop your rank. And it's a false drop, and it's temporary. And the reason that they do it is so they can see what you do to counter it. And here's the trick. Here's the key. Don't change anything. When you see that drop, you pretend you never saw it. You keep doing whatever it was that you were doing. Because if you change, if they drop your rank and you change because they did, now they got you.
That's really interesting because you see, a big drop would scare me.
No.
Being inexperienced as an SEO, I look at a drop and I think, you know, something is going wrong. I've done something wrong. I messed up something, and all of a sudden I'll be tweaking my site to death.
Yeah, no. Hold the status quo.
Okay.
And I don't care what you're doing. I've read this. It's actually a patent. I had speculated it for a long time, but then we proved it in a patent. And you remember? Do you know Dory from SEO Nitro from way back?
I'm terrible in SEO, so knows that.
Well, anyway, she had a huge network, and she was doing, you know, a lot of stuff out on the edge, and I had kind of warned her what was coming, and all of a sudden, she had a private blog network, a massive one, and it got hit. The whole thing got de-indexed.
Right.
It was like a $2 million hit for her that day.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, all those sites just done, just cooked. And I told her, I said, look, I said, I know you got hurt bad right now. You got hurt bad today. But Leave those sites alone. Don't change anything. Just let them ride and rebuild on new stuff. But don't change the old stuff. Just let it go. Leave it, let it ride. So she did, and what happened was 2 years to the day, they all came back to life, and that's where we knew it's a 2-year penalty box. You know,
Wow.
and I'll tell you what, when they came back to life, it's like they have diplomatic immunity. You can do anything with them, and Google will trust them still.
Right.
Because you didn't change because of what they did. That's a massive trust factor.
Wow.
So anyway, that's why I wanted to bring this slide up and just kind of tell you about that, what the Google dance is all about. And it's like that old TV commercial they say for the deodorant, they say, never let them see you sweat. It's the same thing here. Do not let them see you sweat. Just keep the status quo, whatever it is. And I do this, I tell my students this like almost on a weekly basis. I have to keep reminding them of this because this is a common thing in SEO. If you're going to do SEO, you're going to see this. Sometimes the drop will be for a day. Sometimes it'll only be for an hour. Sometimes it will be for weeks. The longest one I've seen was going on 2 months. And I got to tell you, it was really testing my my faith on that. It was like, oh shit, you know, is this coming back? And then all of a sudden, boom, it came back better than it was ever before, and no problems ever since. So it's a really good point to cover here.
Fascinating.
So anyway, let's talk now about what happened. Why did links go away? What actually happened? And why is traditional SEO just flat gone now? What's happening is you'll see this. If you run a search for almost anything right now, you'll see that big brands dominate. Have you noticed that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well,
It's like they're giving preference to
yeah,
the bigger authority sites.
yeah, they are. And the reason why is what I call the Google 2.0. It's because of user experience. It's like the users are feeding data into Google as to what a good site is. And the fact that people know their brand name is a huge key to that. So I'm going to show you guys how to play the game and how to fight back here. This is what it is. It's Google Rank Brain. That's what everybody's calling it. Very few people know what it's actually doing. And that's what I'm going to show you is what's under the hood here in the new algorithm. It's really interesting. And this is really the reason how we know and why we can rank these keywords, because we understand the core behind it. And the other thing about this, you guys, you know, if you've done SEO or if you've heard about SEO, maybe you haven't done SEO because you were afraid. The penalty factor is what everybody's scared of. And I got to tell you, you only get penalized if you get caught. So this game is like a cat and mouse game.
Oh, sure.
And I've been playing it for over 20 years. I've never had a client site banned. Not once, not ever.
I think every marketer has been playing the cat and mouse game with Google, for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, we've always tried to find a way of getting ahead of the algorithm or finding an advantage, and
Yeah.
that's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly.
Their job is to keep you as low as possible, so you pay their ad fees.
Yeah,
And our job is to get as high as possible, so we get traffic.
that's right. So we can make money, right?
Right.
So anyway, our new strategy behind this, I'm going to show you what we're doing, and it literally trains RankBrain. It shows them who should be at the top. And the cool thing is I'm going to show you how we're doing it with less than 2 minutes of work to implement the technique. So think about that. 2 minutes worth of work to put the ball in your court.
I can cope with that.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, it's pretty incredible when it comes to SEO. I remember the days where we're building blog posts,
Yeah.
we're building articles and posting into article directories.
Uh-huh.
spinning those articles, and doing all that palaver. And then, using anchor text from that, basically, which is exactly keyword anchor, to trying to spoof Google and thinking this site is important about X.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, this is the easiest SEO I've ever seen.
Cool. I'm in.
It really is. Here's some more examples. Here's a publisher. Here's a prosperity company. I mean, when I say this works on everything, it's worked on everything we've tried it on. Accounting, new sites, old sites, doesn't really matter. Here is a facial site. This is a little tiny site, but the boost was 300% in their traffic.
Nice.
It's just, it's crazy. So, you guys kind of got my name in the beginning, and I'm partnered up with Chris Ormiston on this. And, this is kind of who we are, what we've done. There's me and Chris right there. We've both been at this for over 20 years. The reason Chris is significant is he actually put the software together to actually make this happen in 2 minutes, like I just said. Because if you didn't have the software behind you doing the work, this would be an unsurmountable task. You just look at it and go, oh yeah, I can't play that game. So pretty cool. And like you said, here's some of the sites, and some of these were Chris's accounts, but one I want to talk about is the shoes, the Nike and the Asics. We did this exact technique on these guys for wrestling shoes. And look at that, we've got Nike and Asics in the drop-down box. So when somebody starts typing this in, and this is a recent screenshot. So we did this probably 2 years ago, and it's still working today. And it's the thing that we've automated to get this to happen. But the really cool thing is when somebody starts typing in a keyword and it shows your brand, it's actually a recommendation from Google. So when you click on that, guess what happens? You own the whole page because it's branded to you. You literally eliminate the competition, which is a crazy good thing to do beyond the normal SEO. So that's why I wanted to show that. So at this point, kind of forget what you thought you knew about SEO. We're going to get into the new stuff here and cracking the patent. Now, you had mentioned that I like to read patents. I actually don't like to read patents. I have a guy that reads them because this is what they look like. It's like, I look at this shit and my eyes just go crossways.
Right.
But I've got a guy that's really good at deciphering this stuff. And what he does, he goes in and he highlights stuff, and then I can look at the highlights and I can make sense of it. And it's things like this. Things start floating to the top. And when we looked at the recent stuff, this is the stuff that started coming up. It was informational search, transactional search, and navigational search. And we talked a little bit about this kind of in the beginning, but what this means, you probably heard the 80-20 rule, right?
Right, Pareto's principle?
Yeah.
Right.
80% of the searches out there are informational, which informational is not going to lead to a buyer keyword. So a lot of those informational keywords have a massive search volume. So people in the SEO community, they go after them, they target them, they try and optimize for them. Well, it doesn't do them any good. They're driving a bunch of traffic and not making any sales. Transactional keywords, these are good ones. These are buyer keywords. This is like, how much is the price of something? When you say iPhone price, you're basically telling Google, I know the product I want. That's a brand connection right there. And you just want to know how much it costs. So Google is figuring out the intent of a search. And when they figure out the intent, they drop it in one of these 3 buckets. Now, informational, obviously, that's not going to work for you. A transactional search, this is where Google is going to know. They know you're looking to buy something. So what they're going to do, they're going to show results of things for sale. So they understand it's the intent behind the search. But the reason I have navigational in red and on the last screen why that was the biggest thing was we found that when there's navigational search, that is the biggest factor that Google looks at as to who's going to rank in any category. So a navigational search is what I was talking about originally, is those real long tail specific. Like when you add Goodyear to your tire search, that's a brand connection. You're connecting the generic tire keyword to the manufacturer. You know, that's a brand connection and keyword. And when Google sees that people are clicking through to your site, they make the final connection of the keyword and the brand belong to the site. So in the future, if enough people run that search and connect the keyword to the brand, Google's going to start favoring you as the one that gets clicked through for that. Does that make sense? Is it starting to gel a little bit?
I think the penny's starting to drop. So for example, for transactional, I would type things like buy iPhone. And that gets me a load of buy sites and gets me a load of sites that are selling iPhones. For navigational, we're talking about more local SEO. We're talking about things like, for example, you're talking about hairdresser in Cheltenham, or we're talking about maybe even more specific, like ladies hairdresser in Cheltenham.
Yeah, very, very specific. And I used like a localized term there, but it doesn't have to be local.
Okay, and we can also use brand with that. So what you're talking about on top is, let's just say, Uber Cheltenham. That'll be in brand, right?
Yeah. So when the connection comes in there with the keyword and the brand and anything else that's very specific, and the person clicks through, the site that's getting clicked through is getting the juice. They're getting that thing that is going to carry forward to the next search. So like if you're number 5 in the search results and everyone clicks on that link, Google's going to start pushing that one to the top.
Okay. So we certainly have to have a good a good title line and a good description, obviously, for that. Just like before, so that hasn't changed.
No, absolutely. The reason behind it is what has changed. So when you're focused on your title and your description, the most important thing there is not to stuff it with keywords. The most important thing is to get it clicked.
You're giving me ideas of putting brands and making my my description stand out.
Yes.
By associating my business with other brands.
Yeah, I'll tell you some of the key things that we've found that get titles and descriptions clicked really well is putting a date in. Like if all the other 10 or the other 9 search results on the page don't have a date on them and you have 2019, you're going to get clicked.
Wow.
Because they're automatically going to know this is current.
Right.
I don't have to guess. This is current.
Interesting.
So that's a good one. Another really good one is, and this is going to blow your mind, just tell them to click it.
Really?
Literally say, put a call to action of click here, click now. It blows my mind that it's that easy. Now another one, and I watch late night TV, like right before the 11 o'clock news. The 11 o'clock news, they throw these little tidbits out to get you to stay and watch the news for an hour beyond when you want to. They're really good at it. And what they do, they're teasers. So if you can learn a lot from those teasers of how to get people to click on your site. And one of the things is not telling them the whole story. Like you give them a certain point and then you truncate it and you put a ... so they have to click to find out. Like, click here to get your free ... Well, what are they going to do? Not click to see what they're going to get free? Right?
So we're looking at a little bit of clickbait, essentially.
Yeah,
it is eye candy. It is eye candy.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
so
but
that's the deal, really. It's
I absolutely get it. I mean, I do get that people are much more likely to buy when they look for a specific location, much more likely to buy when they look for a product and type the word buy
mhm.
or price. That makes absolute sense. So essentially, what you're saying is navigational and transactional are the more favorable, and the more people click on your particular listing, the higher you go up. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in the navigational, this is basically the thing about it that we've found that makes it so important to Google is it shows the user's search behavior. It shows their intent, and it's kind of like this is the new gauge. Instead of links, this is showing popularity versus search versus links. Because links was really easy to game, but gaming how someone reacts to your stuff, that's a little bit harder, right?
Yeah, a lot harder. Yeah.
So Google trusts this a lot more. This is a factor that they hold very high in regard as a trust factor. So it literally shows them who belongs at the top, and it was almost impossible to be manipulated until we developed this little trick.
I love little tricks,
Yeah, yeah.
especially when it comes to Google. It's exactly fascinating.
Yeah, so I don't know if you recognize this guy or not, Rand Fishkin from Moz. This is older data, but this we've been doing this for quite some time. He ran a test out to his audience to test navigational search and rank and see if it actually worked. And what he did, he had this site where he was in the number 7 spot. And
Right.
he tweeted out to all of his users, and this was at 6:03 p.m. You see the date up there. 6:03 p.m. He tweeted his users and he said, "Hey guys, go to Google and type in IMEC space lab and then click on moz.com." And he told everybody, "Go do that right now." And then 3 hours later, 9:01, he was at number 1. This is in 3 hours. He proved that clicks would drive you to the top. Now, it's a lot more sophisticated right now. It's more than just the clicks, but this is where we got our base start of, hey, this is the test that proves this works. So it is absolutely true. User interaction, those user signals, this is Google's new weapon of choice to decide who belongs at the top. It really comes down to that. So when you break up SEO, you've got your on page, you've got your linking, but now you've got the human behavior. And this is like the missing piece. You could have the other two pieces, but the big brands, they have this naturally. People know to search for them, so they're getting this factor, and it's making it very unfair to all of us. And this is the missing piece right here. And this is why SEO is so hard. This is why it feels like you're literally pushing a boulder up a mountain. If you guys have been doing the traditional stuff, you're working and working and working, and you're not going anywhere. And this is why. It's because you're missing that third. And I truly believe it's more than a third. I use that as a graphic just to demonstrate, but I think it's more like half or better. So there's 5 things, and these are the 5 signals that we really feel are the most impactful to that's making up this rank brain algorithm. And here they are. It's getting searches from mobile devices. This is like, if you don't have mobile devices searching and you just have desktop devices searching, that's kind of a red flag. There's a lot of guys that are trying to do this off desktop devices, and it doesn't look natural. So you've got to have searches coming from mobile devices. And here's another one, proximity search. What this means, and this is not just for local businesses, proximity search means that people are searching for the brand close to the brand base. Like if the business is in a particular city, Google expects to see searches coming from that city for the brand. They expect it to be known. Now, even if it's a national company and they don't even serve the city, it still makes sense for people in the city to know the brand and search for it. They have recognized this as a natural behavior. So if you don't have that, you're missing a little chunk. You're missing one of these 5 factors. The navigational searches, brand searches. This is the thing that's making it unfair to all of us. And then the other thing, this is revised search, and this is probably the biggest one of all. We call this pogo sticking. When you pogo stick, it's like you try something, you didn't get what you wanted, you bounce back and you bounced again. You tried it. Google calls it a bounce rate. So when Google sees people hitting your site and then bouncing off, we call it pogo sticking. They call it bounce rate. Google especially hates it on their own site. When you run a search on Google and you don't find what you wanted and you bounce back, you pogo sticked on Google. They got a bounce rate. They don't like that. They don't like it on their own site any more than they like it on yours. And the reason is they recognize they didn't give a good user experience. That's what they're all about. So think about this. If somebody goes and they search for you, and they didn't find you, they bounce back to the search box and they put your brand in. Now they found you and they click through. That is the gold. That's the absolute gold. The trick is, how do you get that to happen? How do you get that to happen in a massive way? That's the key. So when this all happens, when you get these 5 signals and it's done right, it creates incredible trust in Google, and they will put your site at the top. So it's like, you've got all these devices running search signals, and what that does, it gives you more listings, more traffic, more leads, more sales, and ultimately more profit by having your site at the top. It's that simple. But back to the whole big question, how do we get this to happen? I don't know about you, but I don't have enough friends to do these searches for me. I'm going to wear that out real fast. So we built a machine to do this, and it's called sitepop. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, is how we can do this in 2 minutes. It provides all 5 of these critical factors. It's the only thing I know of. There's a couple of tools out there that are doing a similar thing, but most of them are coming from desktop, and most of them, well, in fact, all of them are coming out of little countries like India, the Philippines. So it doesn't look very natural when all your search traffic and these clicks are coming out of those kind of places. So I wouldn't recommend that. Anyway, what this does, sitepop, it does randomized customer searches from real devices, real phones, real people's phones. These are real devices, real users, no proxies. This is the real deal. This is emulating real user activity off of real phones. It's mobile devices, so it's sending the mobile search signals. Everything is completely randomized, so it never is going to look like a machine did this. To give you an idea, even the strokes in the search, like the keystrokes, the time between the keystrokes is randomized, just like a human. And we even backstroke like we made a mistake. I mean, we've gone to that level in this thing to make it real.
Yeah, that makes sense, because of course they'll probably have that kind of stuff built in.
Oh yeah, they look for that. They know exactly what a real user looks like. They know down to the keystroke what they look like. And we've figured it out. We've chased through the patent and seen what they're looking for, and we've emulated every bit of it. So it's pretty cool. This is what trains RankBrain. So again, this is completely safe because there's no way to detect it. It's a real phone, it's a real user, and it's a real search behavior. So all of our customers is what makes up our network of devices. So every one of our customers, they put it on their own phones, and their phones run searches for everyone else in the network, and everyone else in the network runs searches for them. So it's pretty cool. Some people say, well, I don't want my phone running a bunch of searches. And a phone will run about 17 searches a day, which is very natural. And they're not all done at once. It's completely randomized throughout the day. You know, that's less than one an hour. If you think about it, think about your usage on your cell phone. You're probably running more searches than that yourself, just
Pretty
natural.
much.
And it does the proximity searches. It does a lot of this in the local time between 7 and 9 because we found that's a natural time for higher volumes of traffic, higher volumes of searches. And we've got it on all platforms. We've got it on Android, iPhone, Mac, or Windows 10, and the Mac. So we've got it on all four. Here is, this screenshot was done about 2 months ago. If you look at our map now, I should update this because you can't even see the United States here anymore. It's crazy. I know a lot of your guys are in the UK, and we're starting to populate that area now as well. So we've got a lot of stuff going in the UK. We're starting to populate Australia, New Zealand, pretty much by the end of, probably by the end of next year, you might not even be able to see this as a map. That's what we're hoping for.
Very cool.
So we've got a lot of devices here. This, I wanted to show, this is an example too. This is CBD. This is incredibly competitive. And this is another example of that Google bounce, you know, the Google dance. Dropped down, came right back. But this was a really tough one. And you'll see, these are the keywords. This is the actual app itself running on somebody's phone. We did a screenshot of this. And you'll see that is from 7/23, so it's a little over a month ago. But we've got, this is, you know, this is the ranking for these keywords. You know, what is hemp oil good for? These searches are, this is what their customers are actually typing in. So we got a pretty good match on this. But we did pretty well with them because all these keywords were NA when we started doing this. NA means they weren't in the top 100. They weren't even on the map. So here's another one. This goes a little further back. This is from March, and you'll see March 25 to March 27, 2 days. And some of those, like Crested Butte Real Estate, to give you a little background on this is high-end luxury real estate in a resort community. These are like multi-million-dollar homes. We went from number 10 to number 3 on the second one down, and we were able to move a lot of these just within a couple of days of running this. We hit this really hard, but just it proved that we can move the needle with this thing. Here is another one. This is Orange County Property Management. Again, just getting started, just showing that a couple of them were showing up within the first month. This, again, this is pretty competitive for this guy, and he's fairly new. So here's how it works. This is what it actually does. It runs a search. It will grab someone's device on our network, and it's going to run a search for your keyword, the keyword that you want to rank for. It looks through the search results, looking for your domain. If it doesn't find you in the first 5 pages or so, then it bounces back and it revises. If it does find you, it clicks through. But if it doesn't, it goes back, it pogo sticks back, and it adds your brand to the search. It reruns the search. Now, the thing about this, the reason that this is important, is this shows Google that the searcher didn't get what they wanted. Google did not provide a good result, and they hate that. Google absolutely hates bounce, especially on their own site. So next, once it finds your site, once it revises that, it clicks through, it spends time on several different pages in your site. It doesn't just click through and then bounce off. It keeps going deeper in your site. Ultimately, it's going to land on your contact page or whatever page you designate as the final landing page. It's going to stay there for 1 to 4 minutes, and then it closes the browser session. And the reason that's important, by closing that session, it shows Google you found exactly what you were looking for, and they absolutely love that. You came, you got what you wanted, you finished the session. That's the ultimate signal. If you could send the ultimate signal, this would be it. This is what you want to create. Now, it's like, I always thought, like, how in the hell are we going to pull that off? How are we going to get enough people to actually do all of that continuously and without hosing ourselves?
Yeah.
So anyway, the key features here is it ranks what we call traction keywords really, really fast. What a traction keyword is that's a keyword where you're ranking on page 2, 3, 4, even 5. You'll find that you guys have probably battled to get to page 2, and that's about where your battle ends. Those are traction keywords. When you add this piece on top, this is what's going to kick you up to the first page really fast. It'll do this really quickly. If you're doing this for customers, if you're in the business, this is going to keep your customers longer. Your customers don't like to be on page 2 when they're paying you. So this is absolutely golden for that. It's fully automated. Like I said, it takes about 2 minutes to set this up, and then you walk away and you let it do its thing. So fully automated. We have a version that's white label for anybody that is in the business and wants to resell the service.
I know loads of local companies that would love to get the rankings up.
Yeah. Well, wait
to get the rankings up, and they'll pay monthly almost.
Wait till you see the offer here. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous for those people. It's going to blow your mind.
I'm in.
But it does real-time reporting. It's literally right on your phone. You run the app. You can look at your phone any time of the day or night and see your ranking. You can see it moving up. And you have full control over the campaigns. So I'll show you, like...
Did I see a white label in there as well?
Yeah, you can put your agency right on the app.
Right.
So
fascinating.
it's pretty cool. So to set up a project, remember I said it takes like 2 minutes to do this? I'm going to show you how it really does. It's like 2 minutes. Now that doesn't include the keyword research. If you know your keywords and you can plug them right in, we're talking like 2 minutes, maybe less. But you can do multiple brand variations for this. In fact, I encourage adding multiple brand variations into this. You can also use up to 12 keywords, so you can spread this across and make it look really natural. You get a project code, which is the project code is what connects the device to the project. The device meaning your cell phone or your computer or whatever. And what we recommend is that you connect 3 devices, whatever they may be, a phone, a tablet, whatever it is, because each device gets you about 166 searches per month. We recommend about 500 to really move the needle quickly, and that takes like 3 devices to do that. Some people say, that's a problem, but I got to tell you, most people I know have 3 devices. Wives, kids, relatives, whatever. All right, so here's the actual thing where you plug in your information. So you give it a project name, which you call it anything you want. You put in your URL. This is just your domain. You only put your domain in here because it's going to find any instance of your domain. So you just put whatever .com in there, or .org, .net, whatever. And then you put your contact email address. You put your company name. This is where you can add different brands to it. Like for instance, if you were a dentist, you might have 3 dentists working in the same office. Each one of their names could be a brand for your dental practice. You can also use your domain name as a brand. People might search you by anything that's unique and specific to you could be in the brand category. So we recommend putting variations because it's going to randomly grab from the pot to do this. You want to make this look very natural. Then you add your keywords. You can put up to 12 in there. And then contact page, this is the page where you want to end, where it's going to close the browser session. If you don't have like a thank you page or something, you can just put a contact us page. That's the most likely page that people end their session on. And then allowed searches, this defaults, what I'm looking at, this is my agency panel here, but In most cases, like in the most versions of this, it'll default to 500. But in the agency version, you can up that. You can give it, 1,000, 2,000 if you want. You can put whatever you want in there. And then company address. This is how we geolocate, so we know where to look for devices closest to you to run the searches first. And once you put your address in there, it will automatically detect the latitude and longitude and log it in for you. Now, some people don't want to put their address. They have home offices or whatever. So just put the city in. It'll just geolocate in the middle of the city. That's fine. Perfectly fine. And it takes, if it took you more than 2 minutes to fill that form out, I'd be surprised. So that's basically it. This is the app white labeled. You can see the agency details here. This is me. I just put my info in here. And then it shows right there where you rank. It shows your load time of your site, when it was last checked, and the status. And we call it Marketing Assistant. We don't call the app sitepop, because if you're using this for clients, you don't want them to go around you and find out where this came from. So we generically branded it as Marketing Assistant. So who benefits? I don't even want to insult your intelligence. I think everybody benefits from this. So, this is what I tell people. I go, imagine being able to control the best traffic on the planet. That's what we're talking about here. Search traffic. I don't know if you guys know, but in the advertising world, search traffic is the best traffic there is, and I'll tell you why. It's inflow. It's like it's like the difference between you cold calling and you taking a call of someone that's interested. What would you rather do? I'd rather pick up the phone and take an order than sit there and cold call. All other advertising is disruptive. It's like cold calling. You're calling and they're not in the mode to talk to you. So you better be really good. Like if you're doing Facebook ads and YouTube ads and all that, you better be really good at grabbing their attention and derailing them from what they were doing to get them to do what you want. But in search, they're already looking for you. It's just you show up at the right place at the right time.
See, I joke a lot with some of my Facebook buddies, and we joke because the ads that come in Facebook are disruptive, as you say. It's like, oh yeah, that looks quite good. It's a little, whatever, it's a drone. Oh, this is quite cute. Might be cool present for Christmas. But I'm not actually actively looking for that to buy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is quite cute. I might take a look at that. All right. Whereas people in Google have buyer intent. So when I search to Google, I have intention to do business. That means I have intention to get my credit card or debit card out of my pocket and do something with it.
Yeah.
And spend some money. That's the whole difference between my friends who are in Facebook marketing. So yeah, you can keep your Facebook marketing. I do like Facebook marketing. I do mock it, and you can keep your YouTube marketing because you're trying to disrupt someone, and you got disruptive ads in YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Halfway through now, and you've got ads now even in Facebook at like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it pisses people off.
Right, but I'm not in the mindset to go and do business, right?
Yeah.
And exactly. This is different because I go to Google when I'm trying to search for something that interests me at this point in time that I potentially want to do business with.
Yeah, exactly. You're actively looking. It's like you're saying, hey, can you help me? And it says, yeah, absolutely. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, you find me someone who's doing that actively on Facebook or on YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube, they're looking for information. They're looking for tutorials.
Yeah.
But they're not actively looking for product. They're not actively looking for business.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing with Facebook. And Facebook knows it. Google knows it. Instagram knows it. Instagram, they're all disruptive marketers, marketing platforms. And that's cool, if you're interested in pictures of cats and interested in the old drone that comes up, and your new widget, to peel your potatoes that does it, 10 times faster, right? I'm not interested in that when I go to Google. I'm interested in actually doing the business with whoever it is, which is what makes this super, super, super useful for local marketers, businesses that are trying to get themselves marketed, and they're struggling. And there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
Loads and loads and loads of businesses out there who want more business. If you go into any business right now and you ask them if they want more clicks and more leads, see how many say no.
Exactly.
That's your sales pitch. Would you like more leads? Would you like more clicks? Would you like more visitors to your website? Would you like more calls?
Yeah.
That's what Google targets.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. This will allow you to compete with major brands, give you something nobody else has, and it'll get sites to rank when nobody else can. I mean, what more could you want?
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's what everybody wants. Here's the big question. Everybody asks, does it really work? I mean, I've shown enough example, I think, now that you get the idea it does work. But I've got like email after email after email that, people showing me screenshots. This is actually, one of my reseller customers, and he was one of our beta guys. He tried this when we only had maybe a dozen people in the network, and it still worked. It worked with only a dozen devices.
Wow.
So yeah, we had all of our beta testers. Now this guy Will, he's a real tester. This guy's serious about his data, and he runs a pro rank tracker. And he said when he did this, when he ran this test, said 50 to 60% of his keywords had shown improvement. We're talking about not keywords he was even targeting, but 50 to 60% of his overall keywords. Just because we increased the trust factor in Google for his domain, it's like when you rise the tide in the harbor, all the ships go up. When the water level in the harbor goes up, all the ships go up. They don't go up selectively. They all go up. So that's what this is like. When you increase your trust rank in Google, all of your keywords go up. In fact, you start ranking for stuff you never ranked for before. And, this is an agency owner. Same thing. He says, we were able to snag 2 top 10 rankings within 2 weeks of our first client. And not too shabby. So
Nice.
I've just got these things like one after another. There's an actual screenshot of Google itself, from a local dentist, and targeting a couple different dental keywords. So, these people are excited. It's really cool. Now, I had talked before about doing this manually, and some people are using these micro workers to do this. The problem with that is not only the cost to run one of these searches is about 25% or 25 cents to have an outsourcer do this. To get 500 of them a month, it'd be about 125 bucks, and that would be a good deal. But the problem is the management time. How in the world are you going to manage 500 people to do a micro little thing and make sure they do it right? What would that cost you? That's the limitation there. But what if I told you we could do the 500 searches for under 10 bucks a month?
That's cheap.
Yeah. That's why I said, I told you this is going to blow your mind. Like for somebody that was trying to resell this, on the reseller level, we can get this down to like $4 a month for the resellers. It's crazy. It's crazy not to do it. So here's the 2 versions here that we're offering up. And you can see this is your link for anybody that knows they're ready for this. You can go to chrishitman.com/news/sitepop. So for those of you guys that know you're in, you can go there. And the big benefit to getting this now is we're giving you guys 3 months of the service for free. So when you buy today, you're going to get 3 months. You're going to get a 3-month free ride at either level, whichever one you decide. If you go with the Pro, your cost today would be $297, and then after the 3 months, on your 4th month, your price would go to $97 a month, and you get 10 projects. So basically, that's $10 each per month. to run these things. That would give you, since you have 12 keywords per project, that gives you a range of 120 keywords and 500 searches each per month. So you've got 5,000 searches per month across all of your campaigns. That's kind of the breakdown here. Now, our normal price on this is $297 per month. So if you weren't like in this group and you just went to our site, that's what you would pay. You'd pay the $297 per month. But here, you guys get 3 months for the $297, and then we're dropping it to $97 a month for you.
Okay, I'm going to ask a couple of questions here, because just so I understand what each choice offers here. So, if I'm a small person trying to rank my own website,
Sure.
And maybe a couple of friends' websites, I'm okay going for the pro version?
Absolutely. They're both identical.
Right.
You're going to get the same network, the same searches, the same amount, all of that. The difference in the agency, here's the big difference in the agency.
Right.
The agency, you get 50 projects.
What's a project? Is that a website? I'm looking for. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Remember, I showed you how to set it up in like 2 minutes.
Right.
That's
got
a
you.
project.
That's a project. Okay, got you.
So you could do this on 50 different websites. You could actually do this multiple times on the same website if you wanted to hit it really hard, or you wanted to, let's say you had a commerce site, you had thousands of products.
Now, I'm fairly certain that there is loads of small businesses that will quite happily pay $100 or $200 per month to have a ranking service that moves them up consistently.
Yeah.
And I can see a massive biz op here, which I didn't tell tell our subscribers. And I'm going to ask Steve to rewrite our mails basically on this, because I think this is actually a massive business opportunity.
Oh yeah, if you look at this, like the agency today, it's $497. It's normally $497 a month. You're going to get the first 3 months for free to get a couple clients in here and get it cooking.
Yeah.
But then you're $197 a month for 50. That's like $4 a piece.
Right. So all you need to do is get one client in, maybe two clients in, and you're in profit.
Exactly.
All right. And you still have 48 projects left.
Exactly.
Where you could potentially kill it and have an income where the project work only costs you 2 minutes at a time, and the rest of the time all you're doing is looking for clients.
Exactly.
And those clients are going to keep paying you as long as you keep doing the job. I know very well in SEO, if it works, they keep paying.
That's it. And this is what will make it work.
Right.
Let's say you're already an agency and you've already got people paying you. For $4 a month, you could add this on and not even tell them about it, and just make it work for them so they keep paying you.
Right. This is actually the easiest SEO agency offer that I've ever seen.
It really is, and it'll blow you away when I show you, like in our bonuses, I'm actually giving a pre-made funnel to sell it.
Yeah.
So
you can go in and you can say, look, I'm gonna offer you free SEO consultancy and tell you basically what you could do to improve your ranking anyway. And you can do that basically with keywords improvement, title improvement, description improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that, say, look, how about you try my service for free for 1 month?
Yeah.
Just free for 1 month. Remember, you got 3 months free, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about you try my service free for 1 month? If I don't deliver, how many other people are going to go out, all right, to a business and say, I'm going to give you the service for free for 1 month. If I don't deliver, you pay me nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No-brainer.
That's what I call balls on the block.
Exactly.
Marketing. And I don't think anybody in the wise wisdom, if they got 2 cents worth of sense, especially as a small business, and say free, we'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then once it works, who's going to give it up, right?
Well, when the phone starts ringing and the till starts ringing, that's a slightly different scenario, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got your captive audience, and then you've got your monthly residual income, and it's passive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So the bonuses, I've already told you the first bonus. Now that bonus ends tomorrow night at midnight Pacific time. So we're really capping that one of how many people we're going to give 3 months free to. But the second bonus here, what I do is I'm going to do another live webinar, And I do these about once a month for the people that are in. And what we do is I analyze all of the people that are in the system, and I see who's doing the best, and I look at what and why. And I share that information with you. So collectively from the group, you're going to get like the best case studies of how to get the best, fastest results out of this thing. Because as you know, as SEO goes, things change slightly. So I'll show you how to do that, how to keep up, how to keep in front of it, all that. I'll give you the top strategies that we're using to make sites pop to the top. So that's a really good value right there. And then number 3, and this is only for the agency guys, the ones that go for the agency, the app is white labeled. So when you put your agency information in, that shows up on the app. We also have a WordPress template of a funnel. And here's the way I position it. Here's the way I position the funnel to sell this to a customer, to a client, is it's a guaranteed SEO boost service. It's not a full-blown SEO package. It's like if you're already ranking page 2, 3, and 4, we'll boost you up to the first page for $97 a month. And we guarantee it. We guarantee the results, and the guarantee goes like this. If you're not on the first page for one of your keywords in the first 90 days, we will run the service for up to a year for free until you do get there. Now, I haven't seen anybody that didn't get at least one first page listing in the first month.
Right.
And even if they did, basically, in 3 months, they've paid you $300. You have something that over a year, if you had to give them a year's worth of service, 12 times 4, that's 48. You still made $250.
Okay. It's important to say this is the kind of ranking, unlike a lot of the stuff that we see on the JBZ or Warrior Plus, with the cheap stuff where they rank you all of a sudden, you know, you ranked in 2 minutes and it disappears like an hour later and just goes, right? This is sticky ranking.
This is sticky ranking. The longer you use this, the better it ranks. Like, remember I talked about the ships rising in the harbor?
Yeah, yeah.
What I do is I'll show you guys on that webinar, I'll show you how to figure out what your traction keywords are. You use those first, you bump those up to the first page. What it does, it pulls all the rest up behind them, and now you have new traction keywords. You just swap those out, and you just keep pulling them forward and forward, and sooner or later, you're going to get some really, really good keywords up on the first page, and that's going to really make a difference for you.
Fantastic. What do you mean by the WordPress template funnel? I'm interested now. I mean, like we do a lot of WordPress stuff.
Sure. What this is, it's a WordPress plugin.
Right.
And you install the plugin, and basically it installs 4 pages for you, which is the funnel that I was just talking about. The one where it's a client-facing funnel where you guarantee the results. It's got the thank you page, then it's got the
right. So you've actually got essentially like your own agency front end. So you can you've instantly got content you can deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Kartra funnel, for any of you guys that have Kartra or you're interested in Kartra, it's a full-blown marketing campaign builder. And I've built out an entire campaign in there, and I can install it. Like if you get a Kartra account, I can just install that in your account for you. And it's the full thing. It's the opt-in, it's the database, it's the shopping cart, it's the calendar system to schedule your consult with them. It's the whole enchilada, all end to end, ready to go.
For those who don't know, Kartra is a little bit like ClickFunnels, but better. It's got a nicer interface, is more respected. It's used by a lot more business. You can't do money making and offers or anything like that in there. They're very clean and very businessy. Yeah. But it is a very corporate based product, and it's a fantastic product, by the way.
Yeah, I've been using it for about 1.5 years, and I can't even imagine my life without it at this point. It's crazy good. So anyway, here's another question I get: why so cheap? Why are you literally giving it away? And it's quite honestly self-serving. The more people I get in the network, the more pins we put in the map, the more powerful it becomes. So it's a very simple answer to that question. We're not looking at making a boatload of money off this thing. we're looking at building an empire. We're looking at building something that you could literally drop any keyword in and just rank. That's our goal. And we're gonna be to that point really, really quickly at the rate we're going.
Very good. So essentially, you are playing the system, and that's what SEO is.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. And
you know,
and I gotta tell you, there's nobody better at playing this game than I am. I mean, quite honestly, I've been in this since about the mid '90s. I've never been beaten. And how many people do you know that have been in the game that long?
I don't think I've know of any. I know a lot of people dropped out with the Panda and Penguin. That was a big killer, actually. A huge number of people. Even my friend Walt Bayless, you run an SEO agency in that time. Some of you might know Walt. Yeah,
Yeah, I do. Everybody's doing something different now.
he had to drop, and he refunded all his clients
Yeah,
their fees. It's
yeah.
and you're charging hefty fees. We're talking about 3, 4, 5, 500 Australian dollars at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And his
Yeah,
business just went zip overnight.
yeah,
It is, you're kind of at the mercy of them. This is fascinating in terms of where they're going. I can see why they're doing it as well.
yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
It really does. So there's the two choices. Really, the only thing that the choice is really simple. If you're not doing this as a business and you're just doing it for yourself, the pro is for you.
Okay.
If you want to make money with it, if you want something that is highly desirable and works really good and is really inexpensive and has a huge profit margin, then the agency. It's
Yeah.
pretty much that simple.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really cool deal, and everybody that we know that has tried it, the only guys that I know that did it and it did not work for, they did exactly opposite of the way I told them to use it.
Right.
They did exactly opposite, and I'm like, come on, guys, really? Could you just follow instruction? I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to make this work.
So this is going to work for specialist business. Okay, it's going to work for local business. It's going to work for your lawyers, your doctors, your accountants, your florists, everything pretty much you see in your town, on your high street. Every business that you see when you search for for local business.
Yeah, even national businesses. I haven't found a business yet that this didn't move forward.
Right. Okay, so it's local, national, specialist.
Yeah,
Pretty much anything you can think of, right?
yeah.
Will it even rank? So, for example, if I've got a product, a simple product which I'm trying to rank.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing it did, this was really cool. I had a site from like the mid 90s. It was like this site ranked for all kinds of different stuff because I had shopping networks on it. And ultimately, I wanted to take all that juice and power and put it on my current site, which is Internet Dominators. And what it did, Google was thinking my Internet Dominator site was about like scrapbooking and just like weird, crazy stuff that I used to sell. And I tried everything to get them to unravel that, and nothing did it. Nothing worked. It wasn't until I put sitepop on it and it started sending these searches, it retrained RankBrain, and now all of that stuff disappeared. And it's retrained them for what my site is really all about. So really, really cool stuff.
Sounds fascinating. And the users, if for whatever reason the users don't like it, I mean, they can drop out at any time. They're not
Oh
locked
yeah.
into 1,000 years or anything like that.
Yep, exactly. There's no
Right.
long-term commitment on this.
Right.
If you just want to try it for the 3 months and drop out, there's no penalties or anything. In fact, if you get in like in the first 30 days, if you decide you don't want it, we'll refund you. It's
Okay.
not a big deal. We're not in it really for the money. We're in it to build the network. We want an unstoppable beast. That's what we're building here.
Right. So essentially, what you want an army. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're recruiting an army of systems that do this. So,
Yeah.
man, some bummed that's late. Sorry. Yeah. Well, welcome. Sorry you're late, but bottom line is there will be a replay on it if you're late.
Yeah.
and we'll go through this again.
Yeah, we'll do.
The
I'll get the
crazy,
replay up for you.
yeah, the crazy thing about this really is just the way this works and how little time it takes to set up, and how sharply it's edged towards chiseling away at the Google algorithm. So you get ranked quick. By quick, I mean, it means it doesn't take months, weeks, years. It takes days, literally, to months. And the ranking, you can see the progress yourself on your own application, on your own mobile app or your own laptop. So you know the system is working for you. You've got a point of measure at which you can see. And the other thing, of course, if you're selling this as a service, so first you get confident with this. I think is probably the thing I would do, is get confident with it. Do it for yourself. Do it for a friend. I'm sure basically a lot of people have friends as businesses, right? If you've got 3 months free, at the end of the day on this, before you actually start paying monthly fee, do it for them. Once you get the results, you've got a testimonial from someone you know. You don't trust me. Don't trust John. John's been in the bloody business for years. I'm a salesperson. So I've been for years. But I very rarely, a lot of our subscribers now, very rarely go on camera or very rarely do code presentations. Mainly because I am super busy. I wanted to do it on this occasion because the product supremely interests me, and I know how much ad spend costs. All right, I know my friends who have blown $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 basically on ad spend with not a huge amount of return. Some of them are getting returns, some of them are not. Right, but if you're getting your ranking on buyer intent keywords, right, and if you're not getting business out of that, pack up. You will get business. I don't think anybody that's ranked on page 1 that hasn't got a massive uplift in business. That was the key game that we used to play years ago. And for this to happen right now, where there's another opportunity to essentially, play the system again. The last time we played the system was in the days where we had keywords and title tags and keywords and descriptions. We were able to stuff those. We're able to stuff keywords in pages and max those out, and then anchor text links to death. And that was all great until Google pulled the rug. And the bottom line is, things have changed, and now we have to appeal to the Google rank brain, as you call it. And this is essentially a tool that does that. So this is cutting edge.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. All right, well, that's about all we got for you guys. I mean, I don't know what else I could throw in on top of this.
Let me just check a few questions to make sure that if there is any.
Okay.
I submit 2 times. Oh, credit card declined. Okay, well, don't worry so much. Basically, we still got a bit of time. Send us a message if you got any card processing problems. Send us a message on the Facebook page. Just let us know that you're having a little difficulties. I'll speak to John and team, and we can certainly hold the offer as best as we can, or I'll deal with you on that behalf. So it's not a problem there. For the rest of you who are thinking about it, you've got 1 day to go and get the first 3 months free. We will do our best to hold it as long as possible, but again, this is a special offer, and John's been very kind, basically, to come and do this webinar with us. So, special offers are special offers. We don't like taking the mickey out of those for too long, but we will do our best to go and get those offers held for as long as possible. All right.
Yeah, but I'll still do the monthly. I'm going to hold the monthly for you guys. And another thing about me, I never raise prices on anybody.
Right.
If you get in at 97 or 197, that's basically going to be your price for life. I'm not going to come back and say, oh, well, it's working really, really good now. You guys get to pay more. I don't do that. So that's a lifetime price guarantee.
So you essentially your granddaddy dinner at a low price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for me, what my takeaway certainly is that for $197 a month, you have an agency in a box.
Yeah.
And you can start an SEO agency. All you need is maybe 1 or 2 mobiles, or a mobile and a desktop. I would go with 3 devices. and have the application running on those things. Because I think do you get more credits for having it more on more devices?
Yeah, yep.
That how it works?
The more devices you have, the more searches you can get.
Right.
So
Okay.
on the pro version, you're limited to 500 searches a month. So
Right.
so 3 devices would hit that.
I see. Okay. So essentially, you become a part of the network. And that's the reason why you need a few devices. The whole point is your device is all searching for other people, and other people's devices are searching for you. That's how this works, and that's the reason why it's effective. And when it's not just a random thing; it's more a localized thing. That's why your geolocation gets picked up. So people search for terms when they're local to that particular business, and hence, the more local you are to that particular search term. That's why you need so many devices in the network.
Yeah, another thing I want to be clear on too is it's 3 devices per project. So
Okay,
so for each project, a device that's connected to that project will get you about 166 searches.
I
So
see.
when you connect 3 to a project, that's where you can max it out and get the 500.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. I mean, I've got a desktop, a laptop, and a mobile. Most people have one or two of those things. They probably have a tablet.
Yeah.
The kids have a tablet, and the wife has a tablet. It's
Yeah,
worth.
the other thing too, you can actually buy used cell phones on eBay now. And when they do these deals, the cell phone providers will do these deals where you get a phone free for a year,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of people will trade them in for the newest phone. So they've got these tons of phones that are only a year old that are dumped back onto the market for like
Yep.
20-30 bucks.
Just cheap phones. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you don't have to have a cell service. You just hook them up to your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the last time I saw anything similar to this was crowdsourcing, and they're charging for credits,
Hmm.
and they're really expensive. I remember this.
Yeah,
You had nowhere near the number of searches that you guys are providing. It was something like 5,000 searches, and it was like $97 for 5,000 searches, and then you paid loads more for extras.
yeah.
Um, it's certainly very different. I've not seen anything like this before, so this has opened my eyes, and I think this is a nice opportunity for uh, people who are not necessarily SEO experienced. I mean, I would say you need a basic understanding of SEO, and most people have that. If you are able to go and change, your title, your description, and your on-page keywords to at least be relevant. Okay, don't try to rank for stuff which is totally the opposite. There has to be some sensible stuff in this. Okay, then that's the level of experience you need to do this. And most people are able to go and edit, the web pages now. Whether they're using a page builder or whether they're using WordPress, you've got SEO plugins right now which are able to go and do those things for you, right? So that part of it is not difficult or technically challenging. You've got content management systems now on things like Kartra. You've got content management systems on the lead pages on Convertry, and you can do all those things over there as well. So it's not difficult to do the old basic on-page stuff. If you've got the basics right, after that, that's where you get the real key. So you can charge clients for both sharpening up their on-page SEO. Don't forget that. And you can go in with a proposition and say, look, let me give you a first month's free. Don't trust me. You don't know me. I know that. That's not a problem. Let's go and get that objection straight away, basically out of the table. I am going to give you the first month's free. If I deliver on my results, would you give me 3 months or 6 months business? Now, this is something I've learned in sales, by the way. It's called an if conditional close. All right. If I do this for you, would you do that for me? All right. So don't just go in and say, let me give you a month free, and I'll come back to see how things go. Maybe you then trust me to pay you. No. If I do this for you, would you give me 3 or 6 months business for X amount? And that X amount could be $97 a month. All right, or it could be $197 a month, depending basically what you think basically is the going rate in your area. I don't know. in our area in the UK, it's going to be a lot more. A lot of people will be paying like £200 a month, which is about $250 a month.
Yeah, we have one of our ladies that is an agency. She's already sold 50 projects, and she's on her second agency. And she's selling them for $297 a month.
And I think that's a fair to good shout. You know, when you think about a marketing budget to be at the top of Google, if someone hasn't got a couple of thousand pounds or dollars spare to market their business in the world's biggest search platform, then there's something wrong. If they haven't got that kind of a budget to go and spend on ads, then probably not doing very well. You might want to pass them as a client. But most people will have between 100 and 200 and 300 bucks to spend on SEO when and if you deliver results. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the clincher essentially is the if conditional close, and to say, if I do this for you, would you do that for me? And it's a very fair close. It's not a manipulative close. It's saying, look, if I show you the results, will you give me your business?
That's a great angle, really. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that just goes from my old sales days. You know, it's I'm a professional salesman, so I do know these things. And not a lot of people do. Some people may not be in business that long. And if they haven't, it's a fantastic way to go in and serve someone else, because you're delivering something that they want, and they're not taking the risk. You're taking the risk for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So, and if this business essentially is saying, look, you know, we're providing everything you need to go and start a 50 business agency, how many clients are you going to get? You know, if you're really motivated, you might get 5, 10, 20 in a month. You have got loads of overhead there to go and make a lot of money. And if you're getting 10 clients in at $297 a month, right, you are going on holiday probably. All right.
You're doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good. And if 10 clients are taking you 20 minutes to set up, because that's the setup, isn't it? It's about 2 minutes per client.
Yeah.
Right. You're essentially earning $2,900 out of that. All right. Minus your costs of, let's just say 197. So $2,700 per month. Right. That's a hefty profit. The client's happy, you're happy, you got loads of free time on your hands, right? You're not being manipulative in the slightest to anyone. You're doing a fair business. You're providing a great service. They're happy because the ranking is going up, and they got more leads and calls. It's a win-win situation. That's what I like about business.
Yeah.
On that note, I think I am done. I don't know about you. I hope everybody else is done. Probably listening to me and John. John, thank you so much for sparing the time to go and talk to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. I love talking about this stuff. I love sharing this information and helping people rank, because it's, you know,
this is really fascinating. We're going to do some replays, and our subscribers are going to love this to pieces. In the meantime, I'm gobsmacked, and my mind's working overtime, and little things I can do with this, by the way.
Well, cool. Yeah, we look forward to it.
I'm a friend for life. I haven't going away.
Awesome.
I'll be sending you emails left, right, and center. So just checking both you guys. So thank you so much, Charles. We do try. We try to have fun with it. I went into business to be fair, and it's difficult, you know, in the industry that we work, to do that, because there's so many people that have different ideas of what fair is. I like things that work. I mean, I have a researcher. We pay for people to go and research and talk to people like John, to try to find you guys things that are interesting, not things that are fly by night. There's some products that'll last 3 months, 6 months, a year. That's okay if that's what you're known for. John's been doing this for years. I've been a marketer for years. And we have a lot of fun doing it. We have a lot of fun talking to you guys. Whether you buy or not, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you know this product exists, and there is deals on products like this as they come up. It's a good deal right now, so those of you can get in, great. If it fits your business right at this point, fantastic. This is great for you. If it doesn't at this point in time, not a problem. It's been great. It's been great having you as a company. I hope you've learned loads on SEO, because I know I have. All right, I've learned heaps on SEO. during this call. So you're walking away with some knowledge regardless. And that's one of the points basically that we make when trying to get people in. So thank you all. And we bid you good night for now. Thank you for staying with us so long. We didn't mean to be taking so much of your time, but nonetheless, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, yeah. Good night, everybody, and thank you for showing up and listening in. So cool stuff. And I hope you guys really get in on this and take advantage of it.
Yeah. Don't forget the bonus finishes off in expires Friday midnight Pacific. All right. I'm going to try to chisel that up a little bit because that's everybody's away on Friday, but I'll have to talk to you and Todd basically on that.
Okay.
If it gets extended, it's down to me and John and Todd who set all this up. But I can't promise that. Okay. So in the meantime, basically, just think if by all means, basically believe that it's going to expire on Friday. If we do extend it, it's only because we can, and it's Friday and it's going to be difficult. But we'll see what we can do on that. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Good night, and we'll see you soon.
Good night.